Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins on the desert planet of Sirius 6b with three terrified humans attempting to reach an old communication bunker. As they get closer, subterranean machines begin to swarm them, killing their leader as one buries itself into his chest. Known as screamers, they emit a high-pitched sound while cutting another person down, leaving only one of the survivors to reach the bunker. He seals himself inside and triggers an emergency beacon in hopes of someone on Earth getting his distress call. The year's currently 2091 and a rescue team made up of Alliance volunteers are sent to investigate on the spacecraft the Medusa. 2 months later, the first to wake up from her hypersleep's the crew's co-pilot Lieutenant Victoria Bronte. She had vivid nightmares during her sleep, while their captain Commander Andes was the opposite and says that he slept like a baby. They all receive medical checks from the physician Schwartz, starting with the Medusa's weapons operator Sergeant Romulo. The next Madden, who listens to the main pilot Soderquist talk about his adventurous Viking ancestry, yet he never actually leaves the ship himself. The ship computer briefs the crew on what's known about the history of the planet and the Alliance's creation of screamers. The self-replicating machines grew so large in numbers that they eradicated all life on the planet, but it's presumed that their batteries must have run out by now. The last known remaining survivor from Sirius 6b was an Alliance commander named Joe, who self-destructed in Earth's atmosphere on his return 13 years ago. Danielli briefs them on their mission to rescue any survivors within 6 days, when the planet will be bombarded with the mother of all meteor showers. Upon descent, the commander asks Vicky her true reasons for volunteering and can tell she's lying when she claims to have no hidden motives. Unable to pinpoint the location of the distress call due to the planet radiation, they land anywhere in the open desert and deploy to begin searching. It's only when they depart the ship does Andy say to be on alert, as the rumors on Earth are that the later model screamers had evolved. Soderquist remains behind with Medusa like always, while Danielli locates a large underground facility that they decide to investigate. They're watched by a person in screamer tech, but the moment Madden sees movement, he opens fire, proving to be the worst person for a rescue mission. They find an entrance to the facility in the back of a cave when radioactive acid drips from the ceiling onto Commander Andy's hand. It's just there for Danielli to obtain some for later use, and they discover the structure to be an old dormant screamer factory. Pointing out the human remains, Vicky remembers reading that the machines would use the creatures they killed to substitute for a lack of raw materials. They make themselves comfortable as Madden and Danielli talk about how valuable the screamer technology would be back on Earth, but Andy tells them that the Alliance has a ban on all imports, as they believe it's a plague just waiting to happen. He says that now, but at night while everybody's asleep, he sneaks into the factory to download the screamer design specs. One of the intelligent machines needs to be charged, but he leaves it with enough juice to kill a rat for its resources and reactivate the factory. While the computer begins building an army to harvest the intruders, one boards the Medusa and swiftly kills Soderquist. The next day, the group detect a life form within a large mining site nearby, so they go to check it out. A dozen or so guns fire from the facility and 2 from the ridge above the team, while one almost hits Madden with an arrow, but he narrowly avoids it. They try retreating but get attacked by multiple screamers, some of which slice up Romulo, leaving him mortally wounded. He tells the rest to leave him behind, and when more screamers arrive soon after, he triggers a grenade, sacrificing himself and destroying the machines. Not wanting to lose anyone else and already getting what he came for, the commander orders everyone to return to the Medusa even after Vicky tries to convince them to stay. They reach it by day 3 but find Soderquist's flayed remains and learn that their ship's power cells have been drained. Security log shows the screamer stole fuel to the point of preventing their return journey, so Andy orders a search mission to locate more cells. With no other option, they decide to speak with the survivors who attacked them, and the group cremate Soderquist's corpse like his ancestors. On day 4, they return to where they were attacked, and Vicky finds the archer Hannah all alone and prodding at one of the dead screamers. Gaining the woman's trust after saving her life from the still-living machine, she agrees to take them into the mine to meet the rest of the humans. Andy tells the leader Dwight the objectives, while Victoria adds that the planet will be destroyed by a meteor storm if they don't help find fuel cells and get back to Earth. The guy who shot at them says that he did it because the latest type of screamers can impersonate humans and are sometimes even at war with itself. He tests the Alliance with bloodletting and proves himself to be human before agreeing to let them remain inside a series of tunnels. The leader says that there were once 400 of them, but the screamers killed off most while the rest survived scavenging off the land. They've now got charges rigged to blow the entrance to the mine if the screamers ever gain entry again. As he's talking, Victoria breaks away from the group to discover 3 people bound to metal racks and surrounded by an electromagnetic field that prevents her from getting close. They all beg her to be saved from the other survivors' dissection table, so she intends to come back for them later. When she informs the team, they suspect that eating each other is what the survivors meant by scavenging, so the commander decides to set them free. Danielli uses some of the acid from the cave ceiling to destroy the force field and help the woman, while one of the men takes off running. They're revealed to be Screamer hybrids, one of which punches a hole through Danielli, killing him before escaping. The team managed to destroy the second male, but the first that got away punches a hole through a guard's head and produces knives and little saw blades from his flesh. Hannah's sharpening her own while Guy's filling his clip when the two hybrids attack, punching straight through Dwight's skull before breaking another one's neck. Hannah stabs one to death, but before Guy can reload his weapon, the Alliance arrive to save him, destroying the remaining Screamer. They hear more entering the mine, so they evacuate while Guy sets off the explosive, destroying their tunnels and burying the machines inside. With no other options, they begin walking back to Medusa on day 5 while also visiting an old relay station where the local says power cells may be found. He's lived on Sirius 6B his whole life and tells Victoria that she's the most beautiful thing he's ever seen, making Hannah feel jealous. They spend the night inside another bunker where Hannah's supposed to be on watch, but she wakes up Vicky with warnings about Guy's inhuman-like behavior. He interrupts them, scaring Hannah off while Guy and Vicky decide to take watch themselves, where he convinces her to reveal her secret. She's the daughter of the Alliance Colonel Joseph Henriksen, who self-destructed his spacecraft on purpose, so she's come to find out his reason. The two spend the night together, and on the 6th and final day they make their way to the abandoned relay station. Once they get underground, Hannah begins going on about how she's never seen Guy sleep in all the time she's known him, and suddenly pulls her knife on him. Proclaiming that he's a machine and about to slit his throat to prove it, she's quickly overpowered by Andy and killed by her own blade. The group proceeds down the corridor while Schwartz remains to cover up Hannah's corpse, but a Screamer descends from the ceiling. It kills Schwartz and drags her body away before the team returns to find a swarm of Screamers entering, and they're forced to run. The stranger that was watching the group ushers them away to safety before firing an electromagnetic cannon, disabling all of their pursuers. He introduces himself as the engineer credited with designing the early variety of Screamers, Eugene Orsow. They warn him about the impending meteor shower and their need for fuel cells, but he regrets to inform them that there aren't any to speak of. He thinks that someone would have activated the Screamer factory, as lots of machines are following them and will converge on their location in a few hours. Vicky discovers that it was the commander's fault when finding him with the Screamer software, but she refuses to accept his offer to cut her in on the profits. She talks with Eugene, who says that he was a close friend of her father's, but they had a falling out on the day that he invented the Screamers. He tells Vicky that the only way Joe would have blown himself up was if he found a Screamer had stowed away on board his ship. With only 30 minutes until the Screamers reach them, the commander discovers Eugene installing fuel cells to the power grid and blasts him with his EMP rifle. Eugene lied to prevent Screamer technology from reaching Earth, but Andy pulls out the fuel cells, deactivating the perimeter defenses. Eugene shoots him but is killed in return, as the commander plans to make it back to the Medusa by himself and abandon the others. An automated self-destruct sequence begins, a 3-minute countdown, as the first to enter the unlocked facility is a badly wounded Danielli. Madden's the only one who falls into the hybrid's trap and is killed when Danielli's mouth opens, revealing all of the Screamer goodness inside it. Vicky shoots him while escaping with Guy, but the Danielli Screamer rises again and finds the commander leaving the facility before tearing him apart. It's destroyed by Victoria with the EMP when she returns for Andy, but he dies, imploring Vicky to take the Screamer technology back to Earth. She refuses and crushes the disc, while the only two survivors escape the facility with the power cells just before it self-destructs. The pair deduce that the new type of Screamers are the result of biochemical implants being inserted into a human host. As the storm's about to hit, they make it back to the Medusa but find Madden already waiting for them after becoming one of the hybrids himself. He's able to retain Madden's memories despite being controlled by the machine AI, and can take both bullets and a blast from the EMP from long range. He suggests Vicky evolve into a Screamer like himself, but Guy says that it's only because they don't know how to operate the ship and need her knowledge. As the Screamer's mouth begins to open, Guy activates the cannon from close range, burning away the organic matter and leaving just the inert machine parts. Afterwards, Victoria installs fuel cells, enabling the Medusa to take off just as the meteor storm descends on Sirius 6B. The pair enter cryogenic sleep for the next 2 months, and when Vicky wakes up, the ship's entering Earth's orbit. Guy assures her that everything's going to be okay, but she notices that she's pregnant and is much farther along than she should be. The father's revealed to be another Screamer hybrid and restrains the lieutenant as the Medusa prepares to reach Earth. Inside her body, Vicky's hybrid fetus protrudes a claw from its wrist, signifying the dawn of a new species. And the movie ends.